Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including local ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC station owners want the FCC to reclassify YouTube TV, Fubo, Hulu Plus Live TV, and others as cable TV companies. That would have massive impacts for how they get locals and some other big things that impact cord cutting. We'll tell you what's happening and how this long dragged out fight's not dead yet, especially with a new FCC. What does that mean? Break down what we know. Also, Nexstar, the largest owner of local TV stations, is getting back in the business of offering their local news for free streaming online. A couple years ago, they stopped offering it. Now they're backtracking on that, bringing it back. We'll tell you about that and a whole lot of other news stories that have come up. We'll break down everything happening in the world of cord cutting over the last weekend. If you want to learn more about these stories and all the others we're about to talk about, you can find them in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to each story I talk about so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so YouTube recommends our videos to more people. It really does help us, and hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Hey, just a heads up, final week down here at the Southern Command. I'll be back up in our main studio next week. Thanks for bearing with me as I travel the last month or so. All right, local ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC stations want the FCC to reclassify streaming services like YouTube TV, Fubo, Hulu Plus Live, and others as cable TV companies. The cause behind this is pretty clear. They want money. Currently, the way the FCC classifies streaming different from cable allows streaming services to strike deals with, for example, CBS's parent company Paramount for all local CBS stations. One deal strikes all of them at once and reaches that. In the past, they had to go market by market and get these deals, and then big deals were created like this to make it easier. While some local ABC, CBS, and NBC stations, Fox stations, also owners, remember these are independently owned stations, are unhappy because they think that they're not getting their fair share from these deals. They would rather negotiate directly with cable TV companies. And this would streaming companies as if they were cable TV companies, like they do with cable TV companies. And this would force these big, massive deals to come to an end. And instead, YouTube TV, for example, would have to go market by market and strike a deal with each one. Now, this has started about 2 years ago, and the fight's been going on and off ever since then. And there's been several groups come together. There's several trade groups lobbying on behalf of TV stations, but there's also something called Preserve Viewer Choice Coalition, which is a joint effort of like Fubo, Roku, YouTube TV, and other companies coming together to oppose this. In January, right after the new FCC leadership took charge, they came out with a statement that says the majority of Americans enjoy streaming and have said they oppose regulating streaming services as if they were cable. Yet proposals to put cable-era rules on streaming services could change streaming for consumers as they know it. This is a battle that's far from over. And now that there's a new FCC, there's a lot of questions. Where does this new FCC leadership fall on this? Should it be reclassified with this? Now, to do this, they would need the FCC to basically rewrite some of the rules regarding cable and streaming. And that would basically pull streaming under the same regulatory rules that cable TV has to operate under. Of course, many people argue that they're so different, you shouldn't do that because you're comparing apples to oranges, but we'll see what happens. Look for this to be a major issue. It was not on the docket for the first FCC hearing that's coming up here soon under the new leadership, but I do expect to hear about this in the future over the next 4 years. These local TV stations aren't going to give up because they see this as a way to get more money and more control over how their broadcasts happen on things like YouTube TV, Fubo, and others. We'll keep a close eye on it and see what happens, but for now, it's one of the biggest stories in cord cutting you need to keep an eye on. All right, Nexstar. Now, Nexstar, prior to 2023, would offer its newscast streaming for free online live. And then in 2023, they put a rule across the board that they delayed the broadcast by 2 hours and only started really putting clips on different services and other deals. The reason behind that is they thought this would maybe help them get better cable deals if they were making it harder to stream their news, forcing people to go get cable or streaming services to watch local news. Now that seems to be changing. Over the last about month and a half, they've been slowly rolling out apps for their biggest markets that once again return free live streaming of newscasts for Nexstar-owned stations. We reached out to Nexstar for comment, and they did not reply to our request for comment on this change. But once again, if you live in a Nexstar-owned market, your market may not be impacted yet by this, but a growing number of them have new apps on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and others that offer the live stream. And it includes places, some of the largest markets like Denver, but there's about 16 of them live, and it seems to be a couple popping up here and a couple popping up there right now. Keep a close eye on this. Live news is the number 2 reason why people still watch traditional broadcast TV. Sports is number 1, news is number 2. Bringing back this is a kind of a nice sign that, hey, maybe they made a wrong decision, that cutting this off just meant people were going to other competitors out there. And that's the thing, is there's, usually at least 3 or maybe 4 other news broadcasts in most markets. And if you're blocking yours out, making it not live when something's happening, they will just go somewhere else. Now, there was one caveat with this during the blackout when they delayed the broadcast streaming by 2 hours. They did say, though, that emergency weather events would still be broadcast live, and they did do that. This was about just the regular news broadcast that you see at like 6 p.m., for example. But I'd love to see this. Hopefully they continue to roll these apps out to all their markets soon. All right, today in TV history, a couple big ones happened over the weekend. We just talked about Dukes of Hazzard anniversary of its first pilot episode. Well, now 39 years ago, last Saturday, Dukes of Hazzard came to an end. The iconic show aired its final episode 39 years ago on February 8th, 1985. Anybody remember watching it? It came to an end. And it made its final leap on the Dukes of Hazzard. Also, one of the most iconic shows of my youth, I remember watching this all the time, and it's back. America's Most Wanted turned 36 years old, a legacy of crime fighting and viewer engagement. Now, America's Most Wanted is widely seen and loved by police officers and law enforcement, as it's helped catch many criminals out there. And for a while, Fox dropped it when they got into sports. What I say, sports is one of the main reasons people watch it. They got into college football and other sporting events on Saturdays and dropped the show. But they've since last year brought it back, and it's back once again. It's good to see it back. But 36 years ago, America's Most Wanted first aired, kind of paving the way for a whole genre of news programs like this. NBC launched their own and others out there. But America's Most Wanted kind of broke the ceiling on those 36 years ago last weekend. All right, next news story up. A class action lawsuit over Amazon Prime Video has been dismissed. If you remember last year, at the beginning of the year, Amazon Prime Video started adding ads to its service unless you paid a $2 or was it $3, I can't remember, fee to remove the ads. It was kind of a way to do a price hike without price hiking everybody. Amazon said, hey, if you like ad-free, you can pay the extra few dollars and continue to get the ad-free. If you are fine with ads, you can continue to keep the same price you have now, but you'll start seeing ads. A class action lawsuit came in and alleged that broke the terms of service. The judges ruled that Amazon did allow for changes in their terms of service, and no class action lawsuit here is warranted, and has dismissed the case. I'm sure this will be appealed, but for now, it looks like you're not going to be cashing in on Amazon launching ads on Prime Video. Let me know, how upset were you about that? I have Prime Video. I do watch it a little bit, but I'll be honest, while I subscribe to it, I mainly subscribe to it because I want the Amazon Prime shipping and all the other stuff. The Prime Video is just kind of an added bonus that I sometimes use, sometimes don't. All right, next up, Paramount secured funding for at least 30 upcoming movies with an option for an additional 10. Now this comes from a major investment group out there, the Dominion Capital Group, a private investment firm, has invested to help make possible the next 30 films at Paramount, including the new Smurfs movie, a new Naked Gun reboot, The Running Man, and many other movies coming up, with an option to do 10 more after that. They, of course, will get a cut of the profits of these films. They see this as an investment with it. But Paramount secured some much-needed funding to continue to go forward as they struggle to find a way to be profitable in this new streaming world. And lastly, I know we talked about this a little bit, but I want to ask you, there was a study out that people are watching YouTube longer. That young Americans watch an average of 2 hours a day of YouTube. And I'll admit it, I probably watch more. I sit behind multiple monitors when I'm working, and I often have one of them with some type of YouTube video running. How often do you watch YouTube? What's your average viewership on YouTube? Leave me a comment, let me know. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I am feeling better. I'm kind of surprised, though, I made it the whole time without coughing or needing to grab a drink of water. But not quite over this flu bug. It's definitely hit me hard, hit my wife hard. It's been a whole week of coughing. But slowly, I definitely am feeling a lot better. Definitely taking care of myself, though. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thanks for the kind words, thoughts, and prayers as I get better. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. Until next time, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.